land is regarded a number one factor of production, and that was the case as the land of Kenya in the 19th century. This period, the brains and the highlands of Kenya were held by communities, and this was soon to change as the brains and highlands would get private owners. Hello and welcome to my channel. I hosting this episode. I'm Daniel Oinena. The brains and the highlands of Kenya were a legacy and a community property passed down generation after another, but this was soon to change as an influence from the colonial rule would soon be a factor that dawned on the land of Kenya. The foreign powers were not just a surge or just something that came loose and was going just to go away. No, it was a season and a surge that was well woven to statutes and laws and a well planned and strategized manner of acquiring land. The foreigners imposed their laws on these lands, and I've made a video on that. Kindly go watch that video and you will have more context on what happened later to the years as the colonial masters imposed their ordinances to the land of Kenya. Now back to the video is that the years that followed, many statutes were imposed on the land to help govern the land and administer legal and land processes. Now these processes are such as leasing the land, holding the land, or administering other legal land related matters. The people who held the power, and in the 1915 there was an ordinance that was put in place. This was the Crown Land Ordinances and the Government Land Ordinance, which gave the governor all the power, the ultimate power, to hold all state land, to sell, lease land, and also strategize and plan on the way forward for the colony of the Britain, and that is Kenya. At that time, it was a colony of the Britain. The events that followed severely degraded the rights of the indigenous people of Kenya, and the different communities were imposed to harsh living conditions as well as slavery, to working on the masters' fields, which were before then their own land. In year 1963 and 1964 were a major time where Kenya would gain independence, and at the time, who was the governor? MacDonald. Now this governor was in place to help transit Kenya from a colony to a republic and a democratic nation where the people of Kenya would gain freedom. It was a moment of joy, a moment where people celebrated, but they didn't know that the laws that were brought to them, these statutes, would still be imposed on their lands, and they were well accommodated by the Kenyan leaders by the time. As before then, the communities were guiding themselves and they were divided into different communities. But now, a country was formed, and that country was called Kenya, which gained independence in the year 1963. This time, the Kenyan Prime Minister Jomo Kenyatta came into power and later became the first president of Kenya. And after independence, what happened? The laws that were governing the colony some of them still became the laws that would govern the republic, the Kenyan Republic. And some of the laws that were never interchanged or were never tackled were the land laws, or they were just changed in terms of who the land would go to, and that was the people of Kenya. Now, the president wielded now the power that was held by the governor. And what does that mean? That means that the president held the ultimate power to sell, to lease, and to administer all other manner of land-related matters in terms of granting land or gifting land out to however he wished. And down the line, that became the case. President Moi also took power, and that was still the case. Why would this be a problem? Now, this was a problem because only the politically correct people would gain land, and by gaining land was huge tracts of land. But leaving the common mwananchi onto bare soil with no that much land to either till, to either perform their farming, and they were just out in despair. But a moment would come to the Kenyan mwananchi, and that was in the year 2002. In the year 2002, what happened? A new president would be elected, and this president is none other than the third president of Kenya, President Moi Kibaki. Now, why would this moment matter to anyone? At this moment was where a talk was about how the laws were governing the country, how they were not working in a way to the common mwananchi, and a talk was now outbursting about changing some of the laws, dealing with the matters of giving out land, huge tracts of land to people in compensation of political matters, but governing this land to a higher extent. Now, in this period, and later on, something happened, and that is what has led to us having the land laws in one bundle today. I'll be discussing on that in a video coming next. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and also wait on the next video discussing the bundles, how all the land laws were included into one bundle in that time of President Moi Kibaki. Thank you.